It is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. We're zooming in and focusing it, and a great viewer question is how can I stop being reactive around my father, who is, I feel, a covert narcissist, even though you are still in contact with him. I'm just now realizing that my father is a covert narcissist, and every time I interact with him, I feel resentment and reactive towards him to the point where I basically gray rock him every time we talk. This is causing more issues between us and makes me feel bad. So I think that's a great viewer question. So it's a beautiful day. Let's zoom in and focus in on that. How do you stop becoming reactive around someone who you've discovered basically is not treating you according to your best interest? They're triggering you. They're pushing your buttons, the things that they say, or more so what they don't say, or things that they do, or more so what they don't do. When we look at a covert narcissist, their manipulation is under the radar. In other words, it's not visibly detectable oftentimes. And so deep inside, it's what they're not doing. Their aloofness, their sort of dismissiveness of things that are important are really more typical of a covert narcissist than an overt narcissist. Especially the aloofness and just sort of the dismissiveness of something that's truly important makes it very difficult to feel that you're connecting, hitting on some sort of cylinders, rubbing two brain cells together. You're kind of on the same page or connected. So this can be very infuriating. This can be very frustrating. This can make you very reactive. So you're reacting to the point that you're not getting your basic needs met, which are to be acknowledged and validated. And, even, to go so far as, listen to on an active basis. You feel that they're not really listening to you. In the fact of not being acknowledged and validated for who you are, what you need, your points, in the fact that they're treated very sort of with unimportance or a very sort of casual laissez-faire attitude can be, once again, very infuriating, and it can push buttons that cause you to be reactive, like a starving person that's sort of lunging for a crust of bread. They're just like you're trying to shake it from them like an apple tree, trying to shake out some apples. You're like, I know that there's got to be something in there. There's got to be more to you. There's more, than that you're not communicating. And so it's this indifference or lack of communication that can cause you to be very reactive, and then it makes you look bad. It always comes back on you. So a covert narcissist can count on that. I mean, this is the pattern that they see and expect. So they see that they can just walk past you, graze past you, and just sort of gloss you over and not sort of be there to be accountable and responsible for certain things. There's a feeling of, something is missing, but it causes you to try to pull out a lot from within you. In other words, it's an energy drain. So you have to look at your boundaries and standards and just begin to say, I don't, this person is the way that they are. And even though they're my father, even though it's their responsibility to guide me, even though it's their responsibility as a parent to protect me, particularly a father figure, even though it's their inherent responsibility to raise me, acknowledge, validate, and support, especially and provide when it comes to the role of a father, there are certain expectations, an unspoken, protocol or, an unspoken expectation, which is a father should. So look at and this is for all people, but I think it's a great viewer question, but look at your list of shoulds. A father should, this person should, and I need, look at what your expectations are for the person, your normal emotional and physical needs. This person should be able to listen. This person should be able to make some sort of sacrifices to guide or protect me. This person should treat me with some sense of importance or priority. This person should guide me. This person should pick up my phone calls. This person should ask me how my day is, or what my plans are, or how my friends are. So there's a lot of these sort of things in between that are not being discussed, or the checks and balances is out of balance. It's not working for your needs. So you have to understand that to try to change this person, especially if they're older, through being reactive, through demands. Oftentimes the covert narcissist, that's just basically one thing that they don't react to demands, yelling, flailing around. They just don't. That's not important for them. A covert narcissist, they have, it seems apparently, like nerves of steel. Their lack of empathy presents in a much more quieted, subdued, and aloof manner, just like they just don't care. And it's not so much that they don't care, perhaps, they do, but their lack of empathy and their pathological sense of self-importance makes this a challenge for you. So you have to look at and embrace, even if it's the father, an acceptance of their limitations. And especially, I'm not sure how old you are, who inquired about this, but you have to kind of look at your expectations and kind of be realistic and be willing to adapt and adjust and be resilient. So you need to ask, not what can this person do for me, but what can I do for myself? What do I need to do for myself to survive and then thrive? So you need to accept that and get them off of the pedestal of authority as a parent, because oftentimes, a narcissist will sort of put themselves on a pedestal. They'll hold themselves higher and more supreme, like an emperor or empress. You can't, they might stick their nose up in the air, like literally and figuratively. Just not reactive, and just like, their neck is like longer, than, they just sort of act like they're just, and it can be very infuriating because they act so invisible. And so realize that you need to take them down from this sort of idealized, and then bring them down, not to the degraded and not to the idealized, because it's the degraded version that you are kind of rehearsing and rememorizing and ruminating in your mind, and you want to shake and change them up. So don't know that reaction is not a solution. The thoughts that you're harboring about them is not a solution. In fact, I recommend that you take your thoughts off of this person and put them on yourself. Just put them off of this person and then onto yourself, and begin to even take notice of the amount of time, even with a timer. Get yourself a kitchen timer or a stopwatch on your phone or something, or watch it on your watch or whatever you have, to look at how long you're harboring these thoughts towards this person. If you're angry, pulling it up, just be like, stop, delete, and just begin to pass through them. Just don't give them another second notice. Don't give them a second thought. Don't give them another question. Don't give them, don't feel that you're then going to doubt yourself or be insecure because you don't, quote unquote, have them where you want them. Let it go. Let them be. Don't try to fix, solve their problems, rescue them, make them see the error of their ways, because it's just going to be an exercise of futility. If you get reactive like this, you're just going to cause yourself a delay of happiness, literally a delay of happiness if you do that. And so you have to realize that your happiness, your smiles, your laughter, your joy is more important than spending time ruminating and reacting to this person. Just realize that it's not worth it, and be willing to say they're not worth it. Even though it's your parent and you will always have one father. Realize that this person has limitations. You don't need to tell them, inform them of this. Let them be. They're older than you as your parents, so give them that. Let them go in love and light and with respect. Begin to forgive them in your heart for their limitations and restrictions. Forgive them and forgive yourself for being upset, because it is upsetting. You've been through a lot, especially when this is your parent. There's kind of some big shoes to fill when you're talking about a parent. So look at other ways that you can get your needs met beyond what this parent can offer. So if you can look at, spiritual support, other areas of support, for example, professors, guidance counselors, getting some coaching, getting some psychotherapy, getting a counselor, having a friend who you can share this with, discussing this on the channel, writing comments, asking questions, learning about, this person and how to be assertive through boundaries and your standards, and looking at all the other tools that we discuss here. A lot of people ask questions and I'm like, you need to watch more of my videos, because you need to kind of catch up on some tools that get you what we call into recovery, or feeling of wholeness, independence, autonomy, and positive self-esteem. Your self-esteem, you have to realize, should not be tied to your relationship with this person. It's very important that your self-esteem is not tied to a relationship with this person. People oftentimes feel that if they're not getting along with this quote-unquote person, of stature, whether they're a parent or a narcissist, or this, maybe they've got this great intellect or whatever it is that they're talking about that makes them so superior and, causes everybody to feel less than. I mean, it's a feeling. You can literally, for me, because I've been studying it, literally I can pluck it out of the air and be like, oh, this is a narcissist. I mean, when you get to the point of myself, you can literally feel it. You can feel their etheric, energetic field, and you're like, nope, not messing with that. I know what I'm dealing with here. And so that, comes over a period of time and study and application of knowledge. So you have to realize a couple key things here is that your self-esteem and how you envision your future should not be damaged or reduced because of this person. To stop reacting, just stop. Don't, catch yourself. Begin to see, yep, this is when I'm going to do it, but nope. And you're going to back yourself down. You have to learn to get that emotional switch to back yourself down and not get heated, not get elevated because of the meaning that you're associating with this disconnect in the relationship. So usually there's a meaning that you are deriving from this, like, I'm not lovable, I'm not worth talking to, I'm not worth looking at, I'm not worth having affection. A lot of this I'm not worth comes as a result of this problematic relationship. So begin to look at and understand some of the meaning that's associated under your reactiveness. I deserve better, I deserve more, and you need to kind of write these things down and know that your statements are your truth, okay? And so know that this is your truth, and once you embrace your truth, then you'll be able to fulfill it. So, and realize that certain things that you would expect, hope, or want to be satisfied in this relationship is just, you're not going to be able to get your needs met or enjoy them the way that you think that they should be relating to you. So it's very difficult to change a person and how they relate to you. You have to change yourself. Michael Jackson, you got to change the man in the mirror. I mean, if peace is to be, it has to begin with me. So you need to get, practice and rehearse being calm, cool, and collected around this person and just breathing through it. And the minute you feel yourself wanting to yell, just let it go. Carry, do the anchoring method every time, you feel in your physiology that you want to yell out or whatever it is that you do. Anchor yourself. Get a physical anchor, holding your index and your thumb finger together and just, closing the cycle of energy that you're releasing out and have it contained within. That's a very good practice. And begin to realize, I have boundaries and I have standards, and I'm just going to move on. I have boundaries and I have standards, and I'm just going to move on. I have boundaries for myself and I have standards for myself, and I'm going to move on. I have boundaries for myself, which means this is where I am, your etheric energy field, and then they are outside. So their energy can't come and disrupt you and cause you to be reactive unless you give them permission. So if you're becoming highly reactive, you're basically saying, I give you permission to agitate me. I give you permission to enrage me. I give you permission to affect negatively how I feel. So you want to stop giving that person permission. You just want to be like, zero, I don't give permission. I'm not falling prey. I'm not going into the trap. I'm not going into the sinkhole. I'm not going into the mudslide. I'm not stepping into the boxing ring. I'm not stepping into the hailstorm. I'm not stepping into the abandoned building and freaking myself out. I'm not, gonna just, pedal to the metal emotionally and rage out. You need to have some internal self-talk as well, where you're able to, and I think you're quite young just based on your picture, so you need to develop, as well as people who are older or wherever you're at, some self-talk, that you can articulate your values to yourself. This is called self-talk. You need to be able to have deliberate control over that and be assertive for yourself. This is a great life skill moving forward. And we could probably do this topic again and again. But you need to be able to have the self-talk and just be like, I'm exiting this fight. I deserve to not have this fight. I deserve to be at peace and let it go. I deserve to have my opportunity in my future and let this go. I deserve. And then begin to look at other situations where you can get your needs met. Friendship, male energy, guidance, protection, or these things that you can also provide for yourself. I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to guide myself. I'm going to give advice to myself. I'm going to seek wisdom and knowledge applied for myself. I'm going to be clear in this task and committed in this task. This is just some of the value that you need to give to your internal dialogue, your self-talk. What you should say when you talk to yourself is another great book that I would recommend. You need to learn a little bit about this. I'm not sure. You might even be in high school or college or something, so I'm not quite sure how old you are. But I think that, there are some things, changes of perspective that you can do and just begin to develop instead of just gray rock. Take it to the next level, and I would say clear rock. Just be clear with yourself and clear about this person, who they are, what they're not, who you are, and what you won't tolerate, and then make these evaluations so you can then be assertive and non-reactive and then respond as you're composed as you see fit. It'll help you to develop your self-esteem. It'll also help you to stop further kind of damaging yourself and sabotaging yourself, being highly reactive in this type of relationship. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. And I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace out.